Hey there, I'm Mark.
I am Evan Carmichael.
And in this week's podcast episode, we go down a very fun and long rabbit hole. And to my surprise, Evan brings us back to topic.
That's true. It's a good one. I remind Mark of a really important message that I have in the podcast. I say it and then remind him of how important it is and that we'll be calling back this episode at some point. So it's a must watch, listen, enjoy. Let's go. Something Approved podcast, episode number 48.
You more than 48. You were 1 minute late.
I wasn't 1 minute late. I just have to.
You were. I even had enough time to say, are we on Facebook? I said, it's 3:01. Should I be worried?
I have to get used to adding you in the room.
The only reason that I'm so happy to point out you were 1 minute late to letting me in is because I got here 4 minutes early. And I thought, should I go get a drink? I'm like, no.
You should definitely wait. You should definitely wait. How is our podcast doing, by the way? You haven't done an update on how the show is doing with downloads or anything in a long time.
Last I looked, which I will admit was probably about 4 weeks ago, we were doing really well through the spring. We had in September an episode that kind of went bananas, and I don't know why.
Which one was that?
You want me to look it up right now?
Oh, okay. Well,
okay. Just stay with me, people. Okay, hold on. Fill the air.
That's just Drager doesn't care enough. That's all. Keep going.
I don't care enough?
You don't even remember. You looked at it 4 weeks ago and you don't remember what episot popped. Then yeah, you don't care. That's fine.
Okay, which episode are we on right now? You don't even know that.
No, I definitely don't care enough about the episode number. I'm not going to fight that.
You're not. Okay. You're not judging yours. You're judging. Okay, let's see here. The episode.
I'm not judging. I'm just saying what is.
Oh, so our biggest day, and I don't know why, was October 24th. We had another spike. That was just a little while ago. The one I was looking at was September 22nd. Which episode? Oof, I don't know. Let's find out. Is this interesting content?
What's a spike for us? How many people actually listen to this?
300 people in a day is a spike for us.
All right.
Yes. On average, we tend to get somewhere between 100 and 200 per day. So in a single day, for some reason, for it to go to 300 is more.
That's a spike.
But here's the thing. If you're listening to this right now or watching, that's just Apple numbers, audio numbers. That's not views on YouTube or anything else. But if you're watching this right now, it means you're part of a very elite group of people who are willing to listen to Evan and I.
Yeah, there you go.
Is that better spin?
Okay, so what do we got today? What are we doing?
Well, so last week you emailed me about this thing you wanted to brainstorm, and I said, hey, do you want to brainstorm it on the podcast? You said yes, and then last week we didn't talk about it at all. We had fun last week, but we didn't talk about it at all.
Did we have fun last week?
I mean, listen, it was amongst a very hard day for you and a very tragic event. I mean, I don't want to say that, but it was a really good episode.
What did we talk about though? Didn't we talk about you?
Yeah, we talked about me.
Oh, okay. Was it fun? I don't remember.
It was good. It was good. You were excited. You were up. By the end of the episode, I said, I don't know if I said this on the air or not, but I was like we need to pull that, because that was like, Evan, you brought a ton of energy.
Oh, all right.
It was like a very special episode.
Right.
So either we can brainstorm your stuff, or we can keep going with all of my learnings and my unlocks and things like that.
Whatever you want, man. I just show up.
You just show up. So here was something that I wrote in my journal this morning, and it's funny. This is what I wrote. This is a quote. Evan's 8-year-old tip works.
What does that mean?
Yeah,
what I said 8 years ago is what's true?
I think you started talking about this 8 years ago, and it's very, very true. Do you want to guess? Do you want to guess at what that tip might be? Evan's 8-year-old tip works. I underlined it 3 times. I wrote works in full caps.
Is this our friend, the coach?
Nope. Oh, that was also a great thing. No.
Then I don't know. You tell me.
Okay. So for the last week, I've been getting up earlier, back when I used to get up, which is amazing. It also helps that the daylight savings changed.
Time of getting up?
Hours changed, and it's easier to get up, but that's great. So, I moved up my gym from 7 a.m. back to 5:30, which is what I was doing before COVID. But what I've been doing is every morning when I get up, on my way to the gym, I've been listening to a little bit of the book Mindset still. And I found out that even if I woke up happy or unhappy, if I felt in a good mood or a bad mood, it was like a primer right? So that way when I listen to some mindset, talks about not being fixed. It talks about having a growth mindset, and everyone can get better and everyone can work and everyone can learn if you put in the hours. Then you hit the gym and I start going, okay, I'm not feeling great, but everybody can, like it sets it up. And then the gym feeds on top of that. And so I was like, oh man, I think every morning I need to listen to something inspiring to set myself up for the day. And I was like, it's just Evan's Espresso, basically.
Oh, okay, great.
You've been doing it for, well, I don't want to say almost a decade, but you've been doing it for a very long time. Like morning routine 101 for you for years was always make sure that you get up and you listen to a piece of content or something that fires you up and gets you set for the day.
Great. So
is it stupid that I'm relearning this for the third time now in my life?
Third time? Okay, great.
Well, I used to listen to Espressos.
Oh, I see. But the Espresso wasn't the thing is that what you're back to Espressos now? Oh,
I'm just back to priming. I'm just back to like the idea of like picking something proactive, like the Espresso, you never know what you're going to get, which is exciting. But the idea of picking something where it's like, if I'm in a certain season, okay, I'm going to listen to 5 minutes of Goggins at, here or there. And like, Tony Robbins calls it priming. I guess other people too as well, but it's just like putting yourself into whatever state you need to be in. And for some reason I was like, oh man, like if I just listen to just a few minutes of this, it reminds me that I'm learning this and that I need to apply it. I need to get better. And it totally changes my day.
Great. I use Play Bigger Triggers now. We've branded it.
Oh, is that what it is?
Mm-hmm.
Play Bigger Triggers.
Yeah. Play Bigger Triggers. It's a trigger to help you remind yourself to play bigger. It's a play bigger trigger. Yeah. I like it. I thought of that once on an Espresso. Like, I like that. I got to remember that.
A play bigger trigger?
Play bigger trigger. Yeah.
When did that happen? I must not be paying attention. A while ago?
Not. Yeah. That's wild.
So as I say Espresso, does that just show how out of touch I am because you haven't used that in like a year or something?
No. Espresso is still a series. I just recorded some 2 days ago.
Okay.
Yeah.
Perfect.
I tested in the car. There's in the car Espressos happening right now. So if you watch the most recent versions, you'll see me in the car.
Driving where?
I'm not driving. Nina's driving because we had a bunch of admin stuff, like family stuff we had to do for the funeral and everything.
Okay, yeah.
And it was still family day, so I said, you know what, I'll come with you, so she didn't have to be by herself.
So you just mentioned that because of timing and whatnot. So if for the listeners or viewers, if you don't know that Evan lost someone in his family over the weekend, you talked about it on social media, but when we recorded the podcast last week, it was basically like a really really tough time for you guys.
It was the next day.
Yeah, Nina was out and stuff, and so that makes sense why you were driving around, of course.
Yeah, so we're doing that, but still film, and different series. So we'll see. Past 2 weeks have been me in the car.
Well, that's interesting. Anyway, so that was that was something that I was like, oh, do you get? I heard Rachel Hollis talk about this, how you like learn something and then you relearn it. And it's like this great discovery. Every time that I learn something and then relearn it, I get really excited about it, but I also feel slightly embarrassed that I forgot it to begin with. Do you think that's normal or no?
I think it's just not enough micro tweaks. Like you were doing your morning routine, you were doing the priming, as you call it. It was working, but then it kind of stopped working.
Yeah,
every day
I get over things. I'm kind of like, yeah, like even now, like I'm having to get really serious about my diet again. My exercise is good, but I've had to get serious about my diet because it was like I just stopped being so careful. And suddenly then I was like looking at footage of me and I was like, oh man. And then I got on the scale for the first time in 4 months. I was like, oh man, okay, cool. So I just I get serious about something and then I kind of just wander off.
It stopped becoming as important. One little slide here, one little slide there. And now you're not doing the same routine you were. Life impact, COVID impact, like external shocks to the system. That happens. And you didn't adjust. So then it comes back and then you realize, oh yeah, that's what was working for me. Oh, okay. So then you're forced to make a bigger adjustment. And that wasn't a giant adjustment. It's more like that's still a small adjustment. You've already done this before, but that's normal.
But is it crazy that I literally thought, like I did think I've already done this before, and I still thought that I couldn't do it, even though I've already done it before. I was like, oh man, I can't get up at 450 every day. That's like, but I spent years getting up at that time. And I was like, oh, I don't know if I can get to the gym every day. And then I do. And
Yeah, you've just lowered your standards.
I did think of you saying that as well yesterday.
That's all. I mean, like I look at my mask, my mask, my neck brace down there. And it's like, I can't believe that I did that.
Yeah, you were really, when you broke your neck, you were at like the peak of just pushing through and being like really proud of it too.
Yeah, like I can't believe I did that. And I look at it, it's like I wore that for 60 days. And like I had a rough night sleeping. My back hurt when I woke up this morning sleeping. I don't know why. Like I slept 8 hours, but I woke up with pain in my lower back. Like, oh man, this really hurts. And I came in and I looked at my mask. I was like, I slept with that and could barely move any night because I had to sleep on my back. And anyway, you just forget.
So how do you, if there's a way, I don't think there is, I don't know if there's a way or not, but do you have a system for kind of reminding yourself of these things? Like, I know that you don't journal and stuff. Do you send yourself emails? Do you send notes? Like, how do you keep the really important things top of mind when people like me or everyone else out there like focuses on something, does it, and then drifts away and lets it go?
I see it more as, like the physical pain. I don't want to go back to the point where I'm breaking my neck and having to do these physical, crazy challenges. It's a day by day feeling. Like if every day feels a little bit less, feels a little bit lower than yesterday, then if that becomes a pattern, then something has to change. And it's trying to catch it as soon as possible. I don't know that it's like, I like to play bigger triggers. I like having posters on the wall and putting the outfit on every morning and that kind of stuff.
But you look past it eventually, don't you? Like
yes and no.
The sleeve that you're wearing, right? That you wear every day.
Yes and no. I mean, like it's a reminder. Like I don't, Steve Jobs staring me down and my parents behind me. It's not as impactful as it was when I first put it up. And there are still moments when I look at that and like, oh, right. Okay, let's go.
Let's go.
And especially when it's public, people ask you about it, right? Like, hey, what are those things on the wall and why are they there? And then it forces you to retell the story, which then forces you to remember why you put them up there, which then forces you to push it a little bit stronger. But the game is the day-to-day feeling, satisfaction, happiness, excitement, momentum, and adjusting. And when something falls off, I think you're actually great at this. When we were at Tony Robbins and it's like I
was so uncomfortable that first time we went. You were like, "Are you going to do it?" And I was like, "I'm here, aren't I?"
You're going to do what?
We walked in and we got there super early because we wanted like the front row seat. Do you remember that? We got in there early. Yeah. Like, we want the front row.
Every day we got the front row.
We want Tony to spit on us. Like,
which he did.
We want his, yes, I know. We want his sweat. This is pre-COVID, like dripping on us. But you turned to me and you're like,
I don't know if I said that, but okay.
You turned to me and you said, so are you gonna do this? Like, meaning like, are you gonna stand up? Are you gonna clap? Are you gonna dance? Are you gonna do all of this stuff? And I was like, yeah, for sure. I'm here. But it was still very uncomfortable. I don't know if that's where you're going with it or not, but
no, not at all. Okay. I think it was around the food. Like, I think we had a crappy lunch or something because they didn't serve any good food there or something. And then I was like, okay, whatever, just eat a crappy dinner too. It doesn't matter. And you're like, no, we could save it. Like, let's turn it around. Like, oh, okay.
See, I like that you tell that story because it makes me feel good.
Words of
I don't know if
affirmation?
Well, yeah, sure. Words of affirmation, one of my love languages now, one of my 2 love languages. But what I don't know if I wasn't just posing for you. Like, we're at this Tony Robbins event. It's all about standards, about raising your standards.
Sure.
I can't, when you're like, yeah, I just can't.
It doesn't matter though.
I showed up the day that I was supposed to show up.
No, but you showed up on that day the way you're supposed to show up. Like, it's in you. It's possible. So it doesn't matter if you're like that 100% of the time. Even if you're like that 10% of the time, it's in you and you can do it. That's where people fall off. It's like this slow loosening of the standards, but then something happens that is justifiable for you not to get back on. Mm-hmm. something happens. You're going to have some kind of shock to the system, COVID, family, something. Some emergency is going to come up. It's going to happen. They'll throw you off your routine. And then what do? Do you forget to go back on the thing? Like a lot of times you just forget. It just hasn't been ingrained enough to do it. And then suddenly it's been 3 months since you woke up at 5 a.m. And then it seems impossible again.
Always be jumping, right?
Always be jumping, right?
Cliff.
Always be jumping. So even this morning, right? So Nina and I have been watching the election news. We're recording this on November 5th.
Yeah, Thursday, November 5th.
It looks like Trident. It looks like Biden is going to win, but it hasn't been confirmed yet. And so Nina and I started watching on the 3rd, the election night, and then we watched, in the morning. I checked out the 4th, and today's the 5th, and I have it on right here to see what's going on in Georgia and Pennsylvania and Nevada, and it's become this thing now. And now I need to see what happens. And so,
but hold on before you move on. So don't forget your point. But why? Because you're not political. Like, you are the least political person almost that I've ever met.
I don't know. I get obsessed about things, and then it has to happen. So
okay,
now
right.
I need to know what happens.
Okay.
Right. Like on the weekend, my nephew told me there's this game in Roblox called Retail Tycoon that you can keep playing, and you keep upgrading forever. And it kind of never gets old. And about half an hour in, I realized you can stop it. Like, you can beat the game. There's a way to beat the game. Like, you can upgrade everything. He just doesn't know how to do it.
Okay.
And so then I spent 6 hours
trying to beat this game.
Not just trying to beat the game.
Did you beat the game?
I did, but not fast enough. Because I wanted him to wake up the next morning. I would show him how I beat the game, to show him that it was possible, and that he just needed to realign his mind.
How late did you stay up?
It wasn't.
Say 6 hours, and he woke up the next morning. How late?
No. So we were at Nina and I. It was a Saturday night, right? So it was also late. So I would say it's like 1 a.m. Nina's gonna go to bed, and like, you don't need to.
You're playing Roblox. My kids are so obsessed with Roblox.
Well, listen, you also don't need to always be on it, right? Like, you can come back because you have 20-minute idle time before the game kicks you out. So you can come back. You don't have to always be in it. So it's not like hardcore, oh my God, 6 hours straight. It's 1 o'clock in the morning. I'm telling Nina the story of, like, I need to beat this game so that I can show him that it's beatable, because he didn't think it was. And it's probably going to take me another 2 hours to finish it. And I don't think it's worth staying up till 3 a.m. and being dead tired to do it. It just wasn't worth it for me. So you know what? I'm going to wake up tomorrow and we'll get on it.
Sunday morning.
And I beat the game. It was doable. So what does that, I had never played Roblox before. Am I obsessed with Roblox? No. I just get obsessed about things, and then it has to happen. So now I need to know what happens with the election. Even though it basically is a Biden victory, like, it'd have to be crazy to not be a Biden victory where we're at right now, right?
He says on November 5th, and when this gets released on, whatever that would be, the 18th, you'll be like,
nobody's officially calling it yet, but I want to know. And so it's on in the background. I got the map open. I got the live press conferences and everything happening. And then I'll forget about it and move on. This is part of my, I don't know what to call it.
Strange duck.
No, not necessarily. Like, I think we all have strange duckiness. If we were looking at like a mental condition, or like whatever we call borderline personality disorder,
that would be a personality disorder. But yeah,
no, but like or ADD or whatever you'd lump all those things together as
personality disorders. Yeah.
Okay, great. That would be mine. It's like, I can attack on something and then it's the opposite of ADD. I can be hyper focused for chunks of time, and nothing else matters. And just become,
and then you totally forget about it.
And then I can drop it. I could drop it. I could drop it if I wanted to, but I like the energy. I like staying in those moments.
Are there times where that doesn't serve you?
Yes and no. Like, playing Roblox for 6 hours did it serve me? It's easy to look at that and say,
I think you would say it did serve you, because it brought you closer to your nephew, and you proved to yourself that you're capable of doing it.
Well, but that's the thing. Like, nothing is good or bad, but thinking makes it so. Like, anything can serve you. I don't judge myself for it. I embrace it. Right. So, League of Legends, for example, the world's.
How you doing, man? Are you almost in gold?
Oh my gosh, dude. This is so the end of the season is Monday. And I need to net win at least 8 games, probably 9 games. I need to net win 9 games between now and Monday night. And it's a Thursday.
You have 3 times 6 or whatever that is, right? 3 times 5.
I need to
15,
net win.
So you need 50. You need a little over 50% success rate.
No. I need to net win. Oh no, 50%. I need to net win. So like
you play 3 times per day. So we got Thursday night, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday. So that gives you 5. 5 times 3 is 15. You need 8 to win. So
no, 9.
9.
I need to net win 9.
Okay, so you need better. You need 9 out of 15, 16.
And I don't
60%.
usually play 3 games on Saturday.
No, you're
Sunday.
gonna have to.
I know. I might have to. I might.
You might be playing till 4 in the morning.
I might be. This is the thing. I might get obsessed about it, but then I could also drop it if I wanted to. But anyway, looking backwards, League of Legends just finished a 6-week stretch of their World's Finals, where all the countries send their best players, their best teams, and they have a World's Championship. And they had no other major esports league had their finals this year. They all got canceled because of COVID, but they made a bubble happen in China. So everybody flew to China, isolated for 14 days, all that, and they made the tournament happen. I think I watched every game.
Was it fun?
That's a lot of games, dude. That's a lot of games. That's, I don't know, probably 50 hours.
Really?
Now, it's not like, maybe it's more than that. How many games were actually run? I would ballpark 50. So 50 hours. Now, it's not hardcore just sitting there watching. I'm doing other stuff most of the time, unless it's a team I really care about. But I just wanted to
doing other stuff though.
Yeah, but not anything massively valuable.
Okay.
You know, like because you're distracted. But I like to know the storyline because by the time we get to the end game, I want to know who the teams are and you see their story arc and you know the teams coming through and
yeah, I know. I used
how well they did.
Really love NASCAR because you could. Nice big season, all these arcs, all these things and everything. And then I realized one year that I'm like,
so
you know,
anyway,
4-hour race times, whatever for the whole year.
By the time it ended, I was like, oh man, okay. I'm glad there's no more League of Legends right now. It's like, I was done. And last year I did it too. And I said, I'm not going to watch the play-in phase, which is phase 1. But then I still did it this year anyway, because it was like a month off of nothing. It's like, I need to have something to watch. Anyway, so did that serve me? I don't know. I mean, I don't judge myself for it, right? I mean, I could easily look to the positive. I just invested into Queens. Did we talk about Queens? Oh, Queens. Okay, so Queens is an investment that Dave Meltzer and I made into a women's gaming collective. So we're showcasing women gamers because there's a lot of toxicity towards female gamers. If people find out you're a female on a stream, they'll like
destroy
super toxic, all that. So it's trying to build up women gamers in the scene. And how did that happen is because Dave, I found that was a owner of Splice, which is a European League of Legends team. And every time they made a major move, I would message Dave saying, oh my God, you just got this guy. And he's like, oh, cool. Like he had no idea, right? He loves sports. He doesn't pay attention to esports that much. So I was his kind of esports guy, letting him know how his teams were doing and everything. And so this came up when he brought me in on the deal. They haven't even launched yet. There's no like whether they go public at some point in the future. I'm in on like super ground floor and can also help. And I know a lot about what's actually happening in the gaming space because I've watched not just this past Worlds, but I've been playing League of Legends for 6 years, right? So I just don't judge myself because I'm happy about it, and good things come as a result of it. So that's what's like, well, does it ever hold you back or whatever the your first question was, the intention was, is it a good use of time or not? And I just don't judge myself for doing.
No, that actually wasn't, I mean, I appreciate the answer. That wasn't the reason behind it. The reason behind me asking that question is because I know you well enough to know that you pretty much attack a lot of your weaknesses, but you do have some weaknesses. You do have some blind spots. You do have some things like that. But when we're on these types of conversations and we're talking about what you do and how it works, it sounds like Herculean. It sounds like you're a superhero. And sometimes these types of things that are your greatest strengths are actually things that are holding you back. And I just wanted to give you the opportunity to be a real person for everyone listening. Oh. But no, it still serves you. You don't judge yourself. It was a great answer.
But I don't. Like, I think...
But that's the answer. The answer isn't whether it was a good use of time or not. It's that you literally don't judge yourself for being a good use of time or not. That is something that I need to work on.
But more than that, I'll even turn it into a superpower where I celebrate myself for it, which is the same thing as what I've been encouraging you to do, to say, oh, well, this is a weakness. Everybody thinks that this sucks. Medical professionals want to put me on drugs, and you just got to kind of...
That hasn't happened yet. Okay.
But you just got to kind of handle it for the rest of your life, right? Where when I went to social media marketing world, social media marketing world? There was one before it. Anyway, some YouTube event. And I sat down with the head of social media marketing world, whose name, Michael Stelzner. Jesus, he's going to kill me for not remembering his name. Anyway, he's a giant guy in the marketing world. I was pushing him on YouTube. Like, you got to be on YouTube. 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 And like any defense he came up with, and now he's on YouTube, and now he's posting videos, and now he's like posting on his Facebook about his YouTube growth and how he's loving it and all this stuff. But any defense that he had was, great. Give me your defense. No. And just like logically walk him through each one. Great. Next day, I see him in the lobby. So how's your YouTube? And then on the same thing, boom, 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 right? Just slowly tearing him down, in a good way, right? And he said something like, you're I'm trying to find every angle, right? He's religious, so I'm pulling out the Bible quotes, like anything I could find to move the needle, right? To wear the skin, to do the work. And he said, you're like a Navy SEAL. Like, once you get a mission, you do it or you die. Like, you do it or you don't come home, right? And I think he meant that in a positive way. I'm not 100% sure, but I'm pretty sure he meant it in a positive way. But I took that as like the ultimate compliment, right? That, why am I doing this to him here, right? Now, it ended up, thankfully, leading to a result for him, but I could be spending my time on much more, air quote, effective things than tracking down this guy who I'd never met before and pushing him on this thing. Why? I don't know. It felt right, so I have to do it. But I take that as, that's my superpower. Like, I can out-stubborn people.
Yes.
Like, when it's right for them.
That's the best way to articulate it. You are.
When it's right for them. Like, we were talking about, how do you talk to your kids, right? Now we had a conversation. And when they're not willing to talk to you, when they're not willing to, when they're all emotional, it's like, okay, well, we're going to have a conversation when you're ready, and I'll wait. I've gone 66 hours of fasting, so let's go.
You've gone the entire night without ever sleeping.
Yeah, it's like, I will just out stubborn thankfully I use it for good, but I will just out stubborn you to get you to do the thing that needs to happen. And I see that as a like the ability that's still tied to the ability to focus, to stay focused on one thing and not move from it and not give up and not quit and just keep going. I see that as a superpower, and I'm sure there's tons of weaknesses that are attached to it. Not jumping off when I should. I mean, tons of things that I'm sure are super. I just don't process it.
Do you remember spending an entire Easter weekend one time, getting everyone in Believe Nation to watch a video that I put up and comment on it, because you were like, we need to make this happen.
Yeah. Like that I'm super proud of that. And quick callback for the audience, Mark, I was convinced that Mark needed to bring back his Mark in the Car show, and that people needed to watch it. And so he did one, and he called it Mark in the Truck. For 2 years you bothered me.
For 2 years you bothered me.
Yeah.
And I was leaving your condo one day, and you were like...
And he did it. So he filmed it.
Promise me you're going to do it. And I was like, oh, okay, I'll do it.
So he finally made it. And then when it went up, it was Easter weekend, and we had my nieces and nephews over. We're going to take them to CN Tower and all this stuff. And I sent an email newsletter to my list to say, I forget what I said, but basically go watch his video and leave a comment to encourage Mark, my friend, to keep making videos. And then all I did while we're at the CN Tower, I'm basically responding, which I don't do on a weekend, right? Like weekend is fun time, but not that Saturday. On Easter, I was sitting there responding to every email, like as soon as it came in, replying to every comment as soon as it came in, to throw as much love at my friend Mark Drager's channel as possible. And I'm proud of that. Was it a smart thing to do? Probably not. Would it be better to spend time with my family? Probably. If I did that every weekend, I wouldn't have a family. But I look back at that and say, that's awesome. I'm super proud of how I handled that situation, even when other people would judge. And I think we just judge ourselves for the behaviors in a negative way when I try to turn it into a superpower. So now circling all back before Mark took us on that tangent, I am watching the election. And
wow. Oh my goodness, is that where we're going back to?
You said, I don't mean to take you off course, but let's talk about this. So you might have forgotten where we were, but I remember. We're talking about the election and how I am watching the election. So this morning I woke up and turned on the election. And it's not to the point where like I'm canceling my calls or something to watch the election, but anytime there's a little break, I turn on to see what's happening right now. And so my morning, I woke up yesterday and I started watching the election. And this morning I woke up and started watching the election. And maybe tomorrow, and at some point it's going to get called. It looks like that's hopefully going to happen, sometime soon. But it meant that I didn't do my usual morning routine. I didn't do my usual reflective walk. I didn't do my usual watch top 10 for my own channel, right? I didn't do that. So normally I wake up and I watch one of the videos from my channel. I didn't do that today or yesterday. And this is the slipping of the scale. It's easy to then fall back into the, okay, election's over. Oh, now what? What do I do in the morning? Oh, I don't know what to do in the morning. And then you just find something instead of falling back into the routine that you had because you had this shock to the system, right? Where after this, I'm going to go back to watching the videos in the morning. And if I forget to, and I feel off, then I'm going to inject it back in or find something else, right? So we get these shocks to our system constantly, and it might be major like coronavirus, or it might be minor like the election. And I say minor because I'm Canadian and I didn't vote. So I have no say, I have no invested interest, but I just want to know, right? Versus people who's like, Americans, this is your life. And so I get it, but that's a minor shock. Or League of Legends Worlds, another shock that was happening in China. So it's always these morning shows that I'd save and watch at night, which means I'm not watching my show with Nina. So for 3 weeks, maybe 4 weeks, Nina and I didn't watch a show at night because I was watching the League of Legends, and she would watch them with me, but it wasn't our usual routine. So what do you do when the shock leaves? Do you go back to the empowering habits that you had? Do you have to tweak it to make it even better? Or do you forget? And then that's what happens. People forget, and then they don't know what to do next. And then their standards just start slowly eroding because you're maybe remembered the habit that you were doing, but you don't remember the why.
Or even how it made you feel.
And definitely not how it made you feel. And so you stop doing it. And then you come back 3 months later, or 6 months later, or a week later, whatever, and realize, oh, yeah, that's why I was doing it, right? It's like you didn't step on a scale for 4 weeks. That's the problem. Or 4 months, right? That's the problem. If you stepped on the scale every day, you would be checking in with yourself more and getting back on track faster. That's what I want people to do in life. Step on the scale every day for the things that matter to you in your life so that you don't fall off. That if you have that bad weekend and eat chocolate bars on Christmas, great. You step on the scale the next day and say, oh, and then you go back on your plan instead of going 4 months before you do it again. That's exactly it. People just are not stepping on the scale of their life consistently enough.
But this ties into something we talked about earlier meaning weeks or months ago, which is me, and I will be the leader of all of our listeners, all of us, not you, everybody else, waits for things to blow up or get really, really bad before we fix something. And your advice is like, you have to fix it before it blows up or ruins everything. If we're busy forgetting about these things or letting things drift or whatever it is, we don't even think to get in front of it before it blows up. Because we're living like reactive life, so we're not living.
But it's not a personality. Life. It's fine. I want you to live reactively. No,
I'm not saying it's a personality thing. I'm disorder or anything. I'm saying we live reactive lives. We don't live proactive lives.
But I want you to. It's okay to live reactive. I just want you to have faster cycles. If you stepped on the scale 2 months ago, you would have made different changes. You're just, again, macro reacting instead of those minor tweaks before it becomes this giant hole. It's okay to react. It's better to be proactive, but it's okay to react. It's just people wait until it becomes giant because they're not stepping on the scale of life every day.
I'm not always jumping.
You're not jumping every day. But the difference is, like, jumping is doing the scary thing. Stepping on the scale is taking your temperature, is understanding where you're at, is doing the self-awareness. That's like, it's just all a lack of self-awareness problem. You don't know where you're at. You don't even know what to react to properly, and you're just coasting. Where if you take the daily weight test, or take the daily temperature, or take the daily assessment to see where you're at, I don't force it, because this is something that I'm naturally good at. I pay attention to it. But you could force it, like you step on the scale and it'll show you what your temperature's at, or what you won't show you temperature. It might, if it has sensors.
Fancy scale.
Fancy scale. Like, you step on a scale and it'll show you. So if you made a habit of tracking your happiness, like you're doing in your journal.
Even that I realized on Tuesday that I didn't write Saturday, Sunday, or Monday. And I was like, oh, so I made an effort to go back, and I asked Jack, what happened this day? And I went back and filled it all in. But even that, was doing it for 12 days, fell off of for 4 days. I was like, oh, this is really important.
But it's dissecting it. Is it that, like, you forgot about it, you got too busy, you didn't put it by your bedroom instead of putting it in your office, you didn't go to your office, right? Like, you can do hacks, but you have to, that forces you to think about your happiness, where by default, you may not be great at checking in with yourself. I'm always just talking to myself. It's a constant check-in. And so there's pros and cons to that. I choose to look at the pros of it and adjust really quickly to things that don't support me anymore. But I think everybody can do it. You just may have to force it on yourself a little more through the practice. Like, I think that journal is great. This is probably why journaling doesn't work for me.
No,
journaling.
This is the greatest thing ever. Like, yeah. I've tried journaling many times, and I've not liked it, and I thought it was stupid. And it was only in the last maybe 3 or 4 days, because I had to journal for 19th of October to today, so 20 days. But it took a long time of doing something that I thought was kind of stupid before I actually started connecting dots and seeing bigger patterns and realizing that it's a good thing.
This is where I struggle with journaling and meditation and all that stuff, because it's about paying attention to yourself. It's about staying focused and being present. And that's just easy for me. Like, when I was doing 6 hours of Roblox, that was meditation. It's just meditation. That's meditation.
Okay.
It's focus and presence.
So I'm sure you have something else that you could be working on, but yes.
Sure. Yeah. But I'm not going to judge myself for, like, it made me feel good to show Jeffrey that you can win this game. You can beat this game. Yeah. And even though his reaction was, oh, cool. Okay, try it on Restaurant Tycoon, because I don't think you can beat that one. That was his reaction, right? The first thing is like, oh, really? Cool. Try it on Restaurant Tycoon. I'm like, forget it. I'm not doing Restaurant Tycoon. That game can probably be beat too, but I don't care about beating Restaurant Tycoon. Yeah, I think a lot of people judge themselves for saying 6 hours of video games is going to be crazy and not worth it. You got better things to do. I think if your kids are playing it, like if I'm you and your kids are playing it, I want to know what they're playing. I would play it with them. I want to know what they're playing. I want to be in there. I want to, secretly, I want to be better than them.
I've played Roblox with them. They are quite a bit better at it than me. And I don't find it enjoyable at all. So.
Well, bring them over. Well, I think you can find, I don't know. I want to find the enjoyment. Like, it's got to be something I might absolutely hate, but I try to find the enjoyment in it.
There's a paintball game that's kind of fun. There's a tank game that's kind of fun. But yeah, I've played some of those tycoon games with them, and we're like, oh my goodness.
Let's go.
Yeah. Well, let me think here.
Well, I think part of it is too, because my 11-year-old son doesn't just want to sit on a Zoom call for an hour and talk.
No, every day. Yeah.
And listen, I don't want to either. I don't know what we're going to talk about for an hour, unless he wants to ask me questions and turn into a podcast. Hey, I don't know what to talk about every day for an hour either. So it gives us, like, I think you
Shared
can connect.
Experience.
Yeah, you connect through the activity.
Yeah.
And then we'll ask him about his day and what he's doing, and then he builds some crazy what did he build yesterday? Some like skyline, and then we both go on it, and it's awesome. And he's like, oh my God, look at my character, he's doing that. So that's you connect through the activity more than just talking. So I think there's lots of people who actually have what I have too. I think that I don't think it's obsessive compulsive disorder, because I looked into it and didn't feel like I connected, but there's pieces of it where I can get obsessed about something. A lot of people would look at that and say, oh, this is the thing that holds me back. This is just, I can't function with this. You don't understand. When I get hooked on this, I have to go and finish it. And it means I miss everything else. And so this is why I can't win in life or entrepreneur or whatever. So we've all got our own story that we tell ourselves that this is the reason why we can't win, where I want everybody to flip it into a superpower. This is how we heal.
Shifting.
It's very profound. That whole section was very profound, Drager.
I appreciate that. How do you want me to react on this audio podcast?
I'm just telling you, it is. We're going to come back to this.
We're going to come back to this because I didn't really absorb how profound it was, you think?
No, I'm not judging you. This is me speaking to myself. That was really good, Carmichael. This is what's happening. As I'm saying it, I'm on a 1 second loop, like listening back to myself and saying,
you're like, this is gold.
That was really good. Yeah, that was really good. Because we've all got something that we think sucks. And then we'll look at somebody else and say, oh my gosh, Evan can just focus for 6 hours and look at how great that is. I wish I could do that. Meanwhile, we totally discount all the positives of what we can do.
Well, I mean, this, you just hit on, you fired off in my brain a memory of a conversation I had with Louis on Tuesday morning, where I've been trying to work through for the last few weeks, like if, I know that when we were talking last week, we're just in, what did you say? You didn't say getting by mode. What did you say? I'm starting to see. It was like, okay, right now we're just trying to cope, I guess. And then we're going to figure out hacks, and then we're going to turn it into a superpower and rebuild.
Oh, for you? Yeah. Okay.
But this touched upon something where I was trying to figure out if these are my strengths, and this is what I'm really good at, and this is what I love doing, and I can feel it and I can see it on paper just by me tracking that it's what I'm good at. It doesn't feel like enough. Like it feels like I'm not doing enough for the company, or I'm not doing enough for the team, or if all I did was spend my time doing those things, it just feels very selfish and like not enough. And so Louis is a huge heart and a champion. He's like, no, Mark, that really is enough. Like, he was trying to tell me that my expectations of myself might be too high. And that's maybe why I fall short when I look at something like what you do or how you work or whatnot. And I see all of these strengths, and then you're 100%. I totally discount my own strengths because I think like, that's like, if all I did was spend all day, every day doing the things that I was next level at, it's a very few things. It just doesn't feel like enough. It feels selfish.
Well, that's always the line. Like
you focusing on all of the stuff that you love costs Nina, because she's the one who has to pivot. And maybe you're cool. I mean, relationship, all of that stuff, you're cool with it. It all works. But every time you pivot, it's coming at the expense of her.
I don't see that. No, I don't agree. And I don't see it that way. Like we've made adjustments in that, like Saturday is our day, except for when Mark Drager does a Mark in the car,
every 3 years
mini episode. Right. But otherwise that's our time. Nina likes having the newness and the variety because she doesn't like coming up with ideas and having to figure out what to do. And so every pivot, sure involves her, but it doesn't have to. She wants it to involve her, right? Like this is
you're doing it with her without her. You're not asking her.
Well, that's the thing. And that in my first two, 5-year relationships, I just did it on my own. Like, okay, I'm going to go do this. I'm going to go speak here. I'm going to go try this thing out. It's like, oh, okay, have fun. Okay, cool. And I updated when I got home, where Nina was like, hey, can I come along? Like, oh, but there's nothing for you to do there. All right. Oh, I just want to come. Why? Okay, come. Great. So
that was good.
It doesn't mean she comes to everything, but now that she doesn't have a job and she works with me, it's a lot easier for her to come.
Yeah, she has a job. She works with you.
Yeah, but
keeping Carmichael Industries together.
Oh yeah, dude. And listen, I was so proud of her today because we had our movement makers. You know, I love my movement makers Thursdays, and we do breakout rooms, and I talk for 45 minutes and then we do a 15-20 minute breakout room where I have them talk about whatever we just talked about because I want them to know each other. Anyway, I'm not in the host doesn't go into the breakout rooms. So it's them talking to each other. But because Nina's on the call, she gets put into a breakout room. So she got put into a breakout room with like 5 or 6 or 7 other people. And she was leading the whole thing. She's like, okay, how about you go first? And she's having them, answer the questions and go through it. And then she's telling them, don't worry about it. Just start. Just film. Take out your camera and film yourself. Evan yesterday was in the car doing it. And don't think about it with your head. Do it from the heart and just make and create. I'm like, oh my God, I love this woman. And it's also the evolution that, 5 years ago, Nina would never have even been on a Zoom call, let alone take control of it and be telling other people, what they should be doing. Right. So
one of my favorite moments that caught me off guard as well with Nina. She helps you organize Thought Leadership Academy, right? The 3-day event that you did in Toronto many, many times where people fly in and they spend this intensive time with you one-on-one trying to get better at doing what we're doing right now, social media, sharing stories, marketing, all of those things. She was dropped in our group when Lily took us through the really tough story.
Okay.
And she was there as one of your team, but then when it came to her term, she was like, she just opened up and started talking and she brought like tears to my eyes and all of this stuff. And I was like, damn, I didn't know Nina would put herself out there like that.
Nina's pretty special. And that's it. It's like, it's the designing a life together. There's some bends that you have to make to align, but if something as core as that, as I like to pivot and then I like to focus, which is part of my makeup. Like if that was going to cause a lot of tension and stress, then it probably wouldn't work out, which is why it probably didn't work out in my other 2 relationships where it's like, okay, you go do your thing. That was our solution. Like, okay, you go do your thing as opposed to, no, let's do that together.
See, I think that I'm, at least with my kids, Jack actually lets me do mostly what I want, but I always feel the pull of, it's not only like, hey, let's do this together, or you just go do your own thing. It's, I don't think you should go do that. I don't think you can go do that. It's putting, and it's, we had young kids, excuse me, for a very long time. And so, me stepping out or whatever, just like you're a father, you're a dad, it puts an extra burden on someone else. So that's what I meant when I said it costs Nina something. You're off doing what you want to do and you're not doing it something else for yourself or for her, right? No, you don't see it that way.
No.
Okay. I want to see it your way. So I'm not telling you that I don't. I want to see it your way. I just have to get over. I have to unshackle all of these chains of weird guilt and shame.
You got to be living, at least 85% your life, right? And
that high?
Yeah, that high. Like the other parts, yes, there's some bending. But Saturday together is not a big burden. And I don't look at it as like, oh my gosh, stupid Saturday. Okay. It means I can't do this and I can't do that. And and I hate my life. Right. Like it's good.
No, I'm not saying that. I'm saying it's the littler things. It's 8 day of your world, things where she's like, okay, I'm just really tired of watching this right now. And you go, okay, I'll watch this alone. And then she's like, no, you watching alone's not a thing. You can't ignore me for the next 2 weeks just because you want to watch this thing. Like that type of.
No, but that's not how we do it. No, it's like, so we picked out, and I didn't know in advance that I'm going to watch every game. And sometimes it'd be, it'd be on, like it came on in the morning. So instead of my morning routine, I'd watch that instead. And I knew which one she cared about, right? Like the North American teams, she cared more about than the other teams that neither of us really know that well. So especially TSM, which is our team. So I had to make sure that she was home for that, and we watched, and I saved it so we can watch that one together. And other ones like Team Liquid, which is another North American team. It's like, hey, Team Liquid's playing tomorrow, 3 games out of 9 games that were being played that day. Do you care? It's like, nah, whatever. Like, okay, great. I'll watch it myself. Right. And I like watching the analysis, the setup to the show. So I know who the players are. Right. So it's the show, but there's also the pre-show of them talking about who they think is going to win and how and so she doesn't care, she doesn't care about that. So she skips it. And so I try to play it on times where she, won't matter as much, but no, that's a great example of that. 6 weeks of League of Legends, I spent 50 hours, maybe more, watching, air quotes. And she maybe watched 6 hours. I don't know, a ballpark, like let's say 10%. That didn't cause any stress. Like I feel zero stress from that. There was no like,
I know you do, but
fleeting. No, but like
maybe your wife isn't happy.
No, I feel other people's stress, right? Like with the whole funeral and everything, Nina's helping a lot and managing and English and all this stuff and organizing. And I feel her stress. Like I'm taking stuff off of her plate for what we should be doing. I'm super frustrated. I have to contain it because I finally figured out the plan for what we need to do in the roles and where we need to go
and you
next.
have to wait now.
Yeah. And like, okay, here you go, Nina, go do it. But she can't. And I understand why, but like my like obsessive, oh my gosh, the plan is clear. Let's just go destroy this thing and make it happen. But putting the brakes on because it's not the right time right now for her to do it. And it doesn't make sense for me to do it. Cause then I'd have to do the whole thing, which definitely doesn't make sense. So if she's stressed out, I feel it. I feel it before she'll even vocalize anything. Right. That's the feeling. That's the wearing people's skin. So no, that didn't cause anything of 6 weeks of watching games, so most of the things don't, like the things that, she'll get upset if there's cheese crumbs on the countertop or something that I didn't clean up after I made us a salad from the night before or something, that's the kind of stuff. But on the major stuff like that, no. But so I think there should be like 85% alignment with what you want to do and what they want to do. And if it's not, then you're in trouble. And then you bend on the other 15.
Cool. You want to wrap it up a few minutes early, or do we have something else to talk about?
I just show up, Mark. See, this is our relationship.
I know. See all of these talking points that I could go to, but they're all very
rapid fire. Point form.
Okay, quick rapid fire lessons that I've learned over the last week that I wrote down here. That I was, even as I was handwriting, I was thinking, I should turn this into a video. One, I realized that if I just put myself in the environment, it forces action. Mm-hmm. So on Sunday, I had to do all of the stuff in my garage that I've been putting off for 2 weeks. Didn't want to do it. I bought my son a dirt bike. I bought a new dirt bike. I have some motorcycles. It all has to be winterized. And so it was like 4 or 5 hours in the garage I didn't want to do. But I just walked out there. I said, Jonah, come with me. We walked out there on Sunday. I brought a speaker and some music. And then before I know it, like it was like poof, like I didn't want to do it, but I just put myself in the environment, started working.
Wait, don't discount the music part of that too, though.
Hold on. Tuesday night, I think the music is actually key. But Tuesday night at 6:15, we finished dinner early because I had made it early and I didn't have to do dishes. Kids are doing dishes. I was like, 6:15, I feel good. I'm like, I'm just going to go downstairs. So I said, Jack, I'm just going to go downstairs and check some emails. It was literally like 9:15. She came down and she's like, what are you doing down here? Like the kids are in, like the little ones are in bed already. And I just had music playing and I was like, I'm just working. And it's not usually work. I try not to work in the evenings now, and I was like, okay. And then I started thinking about this like really a lot. And I was like, okay, at the gym, I put myself in the gym, wherever it is. If I know now that I need to go get something done, I've started to just say, well, I'm just going to go to that place. And even if I'm bored and hanging out, if I put myself in the kitchen with nothing to do, trust me, I will clean the counters. I'll probably clean out the fridge, the garbage. Like you got to find something to do when you're there. So that's one hack. That's one hack that I'm going to try and use more of.
Just go there and put music on.
Go there, put music on.
Combine it with the music.
To do, and you're going to find stuff to do, right?
This morning we had movement makers, right? And we set it up so that people can join the Zoom room. It's not just me by myself broadcasting to Facebook. Everybody can join in and say hi and all this stuff. But at the beginning, so I'm not in at the beginning. My camera's off, and people are joining. And most people turn their cameras off at the beginning. I'm actually we're gonna start the forced engagement. I think is gonna be good. But anyway, it's super quiet. People are saying they're chatting, and every now and then you hear, "Oh, hi," like super quiet. Nobody wants to be the first. That all these people here are now watching you. And meanwhile, in my earphone, I'm blasting like whatever Pitbull. I'm jumping around the house. I'm like, this is gonna be amazing. Oh my God, movement makers, this is insane. Let's go. And then 10:30 starts. This is when we go live. 10:30 Eastern. I turn on my camera, turn on my microphone, like movement makers, because I'm carrying this giant energy wave from all the music I've been dancing to, and I scared my dog. It blasted from Nina's speaker, and she started freaking out. And then I had to apologize on the group. Like, guys, I'm sorry if I freaked you out. I'm just super excited to be here. I mean, people are laughing and smiling. It's just unexpected, but that's the energy that you carry with you. Like, and it's why music is it has to be part of your daily routine. It's not about like, if you play wild horses, it's going to put you in a different state. It just will.
I play music all the time. Like all the time I'm playing music. It's just, I gravitate towards, not like, I have to be in the mood for really energetic, high energy music.
But you don't, you put on the song and it'll put you in the mood.
Possibly, but
not possibly. It will.
No, I agree with you. The music's key, movement's key, standing's key, eating well's key, all that stuff. But I'm saying the breakthrough for me, and when I say environment, it's like the place. If I put myself in a place, I got to finish my son's closet that we were renovating. It's like the door's closed, the tools are there. It's easy for me to forget. But if I know I need to do it this afternoon or this evening, the best thing I can do is just walk over to the closet, step into it and look around, and then go, and then like action will follow. That's what I've figured out about myself.
With music.
With music helps. And if there's someone to talk to, it helps even more.
Well, that's
how many people won't do things because no one is with them? And if my wife's really struggling to do something, I'm like, do you want me to come with you? She's like, oh yeah, that's okay. And then suddenly it's not so bad. And part of why I don't work on my Mini anymore, which I haven't worked on in a long time, is it used to be a social thing. Like I could get with my brother-in-law and I'd have friends over and we'd all work on it together. And then we all grew up and I never got it finished. And now sitting alone in my garage just doesn't sound like.
He's got to sell that thing. Jesus, that thing.
I have thought about that very
soon. Yeah, the Mini's gone. The Mini is like it's a relic of Mark Drager's past.
Yeah, but every now and again, I looked at it the other day and I was standing looking at it. I was like, man, I've done a lot of work and I really want to drive this thing. I really want to drive it.
You don't really want to drive that thing.
Not enough to do the work. But
not even close.
Podcast for the week.
Thanks for watching, listening, giving us your attention. If you want to know why most people are bad at coaching and how to fix it, check out last week's episode right there next to us. I think you'll enjoy it. Continue to believe. We'll see you there.